Hey, greetings, true believers. It is I, Matt from Hidden Machine, here with what will be the first in a series of ongoing updates. Every time I clap, there's cat hair everywhere. These will be a companion piece to the seasonal updates that go on the main channel. This will be a weekly update series, which you can kind of think of as a, like a production diary for Hidden Machine. I'll let you know where things are at, what we're getting done in a particular week, or what we're not getting done. Maybe I'll be confessing that we didn't get the stuff done we said we would. But right now, I actually have some really positive updates I want to share. So again, this is just for anyone who is possibly a little more invested in the channel or is just curious. You know, you got to fill your hours with someone talking because you're a person who uses the internet and you feel lonely, and this feels like you got a friend who's chatting with you. You know, you're not the only one who feels that way. So, you know, whatever purpose this serves, for me, it's a way to keep accountable and also to kind of just share. And we'll see if anyone cares. If not, I'm still going to be doing it because it feels right to document the process. So, most recently, 3 weeks ago, I did put out the seasonal update video, the spring update. After that, we put out the interview with Mo Eldawi. The interview was with a guy who is the main, possibly, I think, solo developer behind Swivel, a swivel chair-based VR game. We gave away a number of keys for that. I still have a few keys left. I'm having a hard time even giving away copies of this game. But if you are a MetaQuest user, Meta 2 or 3, MetaQuest 2 or 3, hit me up. I got a key for you. I think it's a fun game. It's a rhythm game. It's not like overly complicated. You know, it definitely has some difficulty spikes, but it's the kind of thing where I think it could appeal to lots of different people because it's very simple in its core mechanics, and it's physically, you know, got a unique thing going on with the swivel chair element. And yeah, it doesn't really look or feel like a ton of other rhythm games. And I think it's doing a neat thing. So I'd like to get more people to check the game out. We'll see. You know, I'm trying. A lot of games we kind of cover, you know, indie games, they're not getting a ton of promotion. They're not getting a ton of press. And like, you know, we have a very limited reach here, but it is nice to give any shine to these projects that I think are doing something that people should take notice of. How many people actually take notice? You know, mileage will vary. But the next video that will go out will likely be hard to say exactly what it will be. So we have shot a Yeah, I've Played episode for Soma, which is a game that a lot of people have requested. A lot of people have suggested that we cover on the series, and Jordan and I played it together. I can go on and on and on about how I felt about the game, but that's what the video is going to be for. So you can see that soon. I honestly have not started editing yet, but it was maybe a 2 or 3 hour discussion at most. I'm enjoying a little whiskey ginger here. And my normal process for those is to basically listen to the episode at like 1.5 speed and edit out anything that we say that I don't want out there. Which, you know, occasionally we'll make a joke that I go, that crosses the line that I'm not comfortable crossing on the channel. Not that I'm into censorship or anything. It's just kind of like, you know, I'm sure we all say and do things that are maybe not appropriate public behavior. I'm not some fucking free speech warrior here. You know, I do think people should be able to say whatever they want. But that doesn't mean that you have to say every little thing that, or publish every little thing that crosses your lips, you know? So we do edit for content and for burps and coughs. But generally you are getting the pretty raw videos there. And I do try to leave as many of the distasteful jokes in as I possibly can. It's just, you know, we do cross the line sometimes just to make each other laugh. I'm kind of like, I was at the dentist today, and ever since I got out, I've been having like a little spit bubble form in between my front teeth as I talk. Earlier today, Jordan and I shot Yeah, I've Played episode for Half-Life. It was actually the second session. We had one session and it was cut short because Jordan had to go have a blowout. And yeah, we got together today, two or 3 days later, to finish it up. We cover Half-Life, the expansions, Opposing Force, and Blue Shift. And we also talk a little bit about our experiences with Black Mesa. It's a great game, and there's a lot to be said, and we said a lot. And the next thing we're going to shoot will be a yeah I've played on Half-Life. I'm still spitting through my front teeth. What happened with me at the dentist today? Did she clear some blockage? It's like I have a little spit bubble forming in between my teeth. I feel it going. I don't know if it's showing up on camera. I hope not. That'd be unsightly. Half-Life 2 will be the next one. Jordan's been streaming it. You can catch his streams several days a week. Currently, I think as I film this little video, he is doing a stream of episode 1. So he's finished the base game. I am maybe an hour away from finishing the base game, and then I'll hop into the episodes. I think we're going to cover Half-Life 2 in one episode of Yeah I've Played, and the second episode on episodes 1 and 2, which will kind of be an annoying thing to name the actual video file. Yeah I've Played Half-Life episode 2, Half-Life 2 episode 1 and 2. You know? After that, we have a Patreon supporter who requested Deadly Premonition, a game that I've been wanting to get into for a very long time, and this is a great catalyst. I did start streaming the sequel a few years ago. You may have caught it, maybe not. And I didn't finish because I was like, damn, I think I gotta play the original first. And I'm excited. I've been trying to research the best way to get it running. You know, a lot of these games we're playing lately, it's taking a lot to get it running. I have an NVIDIA card. Jordan has an AMD card. My computer's a little more powerful than his, but we still have our different pitfalls. And what works for one of us will not necessarily work for the other person. And it's been very interesting to see what works and what doesn't out of the box or with fixes, and what fixes work and what fixes don't. It's yeah, it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit to deal with. Also, I, on a whim, picked up a game called Inscryption, which, if you don't know about it, don't look it up. Don't get spoiled. I haven't been fully spoiled. I'm glad. I knew there was something more to find in the game than what is initially presented, but it unfolds in ways I didn't expect at all. And wow, it's a wonderful game. And Jordan told me today, I feel like he beat that game in like 2 or 3 days. I picked it up. I was like, damn, dude, you got to play this. And someone online, I can't remember exactly who, was like, oh, that'd be a good Yeah I've Played show, you know, doing Inscryption. We're going to fit Inscryption in the schedule as well, because it might not be the longest episode, but it would be great to have a little chat about that game. Holy shit. So if you haven't played it, I highly, highly, highly endorse it. It is a game for people who like card games, you know, deck builder type stuff. It's a roguelite, but it's not just a roguelite deck builder. Roguelite deck builder. It's got a lot more under the hood. And if you're someone who likes secrets and meta narratives and bigger pictures, and I think that if you're a Hidden Machine viewer, I shouldn't say fan, but if you're someone who enjoys this channel, you're probably like-minded in some ways and enjoy that kind of mystery and intrigue in a game, and you peel back the layers and you go, oh my god, what was hiding here for me to discover? This is a game for you. Holy shit, is it a game for you. I've also been, and I've been talking about it online, which I shouldn't, but because you know, you start talking about something and that doesn't happen as fast as you might want it to. I've been working on a very long video about micro games. I have my notes here. And you can see this was at about 3,000 words not that long ago. And I'm now at just about 10,000 words in the last like week and a half. So I thought this video with the script was wrapping up, and it has just gotten longer and longer and longer and longer. And these are my notes of things I've yet to really fully finish writing on. But you can see just scrolling through, this is the script in progress. This will be a very large undertaking, one of my research heavy videos. I did a few pretty research heavy videos. I did a video on all of the not so popular From Software series that, are not mech games or not Souls-likes. I did one on all of the Clive Barker related video games. He's the director and writer behind the Hellraiser series. He started that it's based on a novella he wrote, and he directed the first film. Kind of got out of his hands after that, but he did Nightbreed as well. I wish he directed more films, but he's a renowned author who did a bunch of interesting video game work. And I don't know. I like doing these more research intensive videos. Of course, the video on Obsidian was another one I'd like to mention. I'm very proud of these, and I know that they mean a lot to certain types of nerds, and I'm happy to fulfill that need when it comes to the type of content certain folks are looking for. So I had this kind of like video about microgames being things like the WarioWare series. You get like a smack it, and then you gotta figure out how to smack it within 1 or 2 seconds, and that's the game. Then you're on to the next one. It's different than Mario Party stuff, which is like mini game focused, but I think we wouldn't have gotten to a microgame game like WarioWare without mini game focused stuff like Mario Party coming first. So I kind of get into, as much as I can, the history of that, and try to kind of create like an evolutionary timeline, because mini game type stuff was around in the 80s, sparsely here and there. Mario Party mini games might take 1 to 5 minutes, maybe. Some of them are a little bit longer. But there is still mini game stuff, before the mid 90s, before the late 90s, I should say. I think Mario Party was 99, 98. There was stuff a decade or so before that was more in line with WarioWare, the more rapid fire stuff, the more kind of, wacky, absurdist humor, mixing up different types of art styles and gameplay styles and giving a real, like wild, like mix of things. WarioWare really did that really well, but they were building on stuff that other series presented first, just not in such a condensed and boiled down sort of, presentation where it's like WarioWare is giving it to you fast, fast and hard. It's fucking you fast. No. So, I'm covering a bunch of different titles that I think are relevant to that evolution. And then I get into the games that came after WarioWare that I think were directly inspired by it that might be worth checking out if you're a fan of this genre and you want a little more. Personally, I've been a huge fan of that series since it debuted in the mid 2000s. And up until like 2 years ago when I started this project, various things have kept me from finishing it, but I've been working on it pretty much every day for the last like 2 weeks, trying to really just cross the finish line with it. And the research is taking a while. This week specifically, I got into Atari Mania. I bought that game. Didn't like it. I also got into trying to understand how to play Frobisher Says. I reached out to some of the developers. I did not hear back from them, unfortunately. Sometimes you hear back from people, sometimes you don't. I also bought, I didn't buy it, but I'm playing Rhythm Heaven, the rhythm games, which were developed by many of the same WarioWare devs. I got through Incredible Crisis on the PS1, Denki Groove Jigoku, Denki Groove Jigoku 5, and Work Time Fun, which is a sequel to that game. I got through the Rocky and Hopper series, and I also got into Major Havoc, an older arcade game, and I'm trying to get a decent-looking emulation of the Tron arcade cabinet. That's one of the things coming up, and then after that, not many more. Tron might be the last thing. I also spent a lot of time trying to get Family Guy up and running. I think Family Guy for the PS2. PS2 emulation, I was having a little trouble getting it looking tight and getting it running tight for some reason with this game. I was told there's like WarioWare style micro games within it. Well, there are kind of. There's like cutaways like, "Hey Lois, this is just like the time I did this," and then you play a little micro game. But you have to play the game to unlock the micro games, and they just happen as little cutaways as you're playing, and then you go to the main menu and you can go back and replay the ones you've unlocked. The Family Guy game is not that good. It is kind of an awkward, floaty 3D platformer similar to the Simpsons game, which I thought was also not very good. Not hit and run or anything. Hit and run, I think, is very good. But this is Simpsons Road Rage, I think, is also very good. This is the Simpsons game, which came, I think, after the Simpsons movie. And it's just a very okay 3D platformer. I really didn't care for it very much. I don't know where I put my notes. I found them. Yeah, I mean, so basically, I wrote 6,000 or 7,000 words in the last week or so since, or 2 or 3 weeks since I said I was going to finish that video up. So it's just taking time. And so, we have been putting out a video every week. As I try to finish some of these bigger videos, it might be 3 or 4 weeks between uploads. It's hard to say. I'm trying to keep things coming out on a regular basis, but also like some of these things just take so many hours, and I work full time, and I also have other interests, other obligations, other creative endeavors. I do a lot of music. Currently, I'm recording some stuff for a new album with Austin and the In-Laws, which is the country band I'm in with my brother-in-law. You might have heard our cover of, I should say our rendition of Lost at Sea from Alan Wake 2. I was very happy with how that came out. We also did Late Goodbye from Max Payne 2, but we have plenty of original music as well. We recorded a full album last year that in the next week or two, we're going to be launching a Kickstarter to get an LP made. We want to do a long playing record, a vinyl record album. And, I'll show you the cover art here for a moment. We haven't really unveiled this, but I'll just bleep it on the screen real quick. I'm very excited to share this record. I think it's really good. I think it's one of the better things I've ever been a part of creatively. I wrote a good portion of the songs, and I play drums on the record. And we're already recording a follow-up because we just have a bunch of songs we've written, and we can only put 10 or 12 on a record at a time. Might as well just start banking them. Beyond that, I'm also I do a lot of hip-hop music as well with the Joint Commission. I moonlight as Antoine Levy. That's my hip-hop alter ego. And a couple years ago, we started an album called Insane Fuck Jams, which is a comedy album focused on X-rated humor, sexual humor, and it's all very tongue-in-cheek. It's rowdy and dirty and trying to be as most of it's just Dust, the other MC, and I make most of the beats. On this record, I'm making all the beats, handling the mixing and mastering and engineering as well. It's mostly just us trying to make each other laugh and outdo one another with absurdity. And I'll show you the cover art for that, which we commissioned a while back. And this record is almost done. Basically what happened was we demoed it, and then I moved. We didn't have a clean space to record in because I was in like a temporary kind of like interim apartment as I got this house, that we're currently living in, as it was becoming habitable. You couldn't live in it. It wasn't ready to be lived in. It needed a lot of work to be, I guess I should say, for it to legally be lived in. There was a couple things that had to change. You can live in a lot of stuff, if you don't got Johnny Law on your back. But we then did another album called Triple Fly Goose, and then another album called, I think it's going to be called Wild Game. That's going to be coming out in May. And a third album was also recorded. And then, all this time, like, Fuck Jams just, like, put on pause as we recorded these 3 other albums. And now we're finally going, okay, we put that on pause for too long to help out these other things, which were, like, kind of group efforts. Like, Dust and I, Antoine Levy and Dust, we make a lot of music together, but we're also part of a group called the Joint Commission. And we did these 3 Joint Commission albums. Triple Fly Goose, which is out, and then the other 2, which will be announced very soon and will be out in the next few weeks. I think it's called Wild Game is the next one, but the title's been up for debate. And then another one's recorded called Regalia, which is not mixed yet, but I'll be likely doing the mixing for that. And I guess all this is to say, been doing a lot of other stuff too. So, the Hidden Machine stuff doesn't really take, I don't want to say it doesn't take priority, but it's just not the only thing. So it's like I work on it a little bit every day. But also I got to take a break from stuff. YouTube's not my full-time job, nor is it Jordan's job. It's great to get a little bit extra scratch to make these videos and get a little ad money or money from the Patreon supporters and to put that back into making things bigger and better. But also it's just like when we only got 2 people to do anything, it's going to take time to get stuff done. And I think I would come to resent Hidden Machine if I had to do it all the time, full time as my job, and couldn't do anything else. Because I have a lot of other aspirations, as does Jordan. I can't speak for him, but he has other desires, other interests, other endeavors. Anyway, not that anyone's pressuring us at all. People are very kind and very understanding and very patient. But also, some people are paying us. I go, thank you. Let me tell you what's up. If I say, oh, this is the next video we're going to put out, and then it doesn't come out for like a month, the micro games video, I think, is in particular what I'm referring to. It's going to come. I'm very close. And as you can see, it's just a lot of writing. And then I am going out and finding these games and playing these games and trying when I can to talk to people who made them. Just trying to find out whether or not these games exist is a whole endeavor in its own, because a lot of these games did not get any English language ports. A lot of them are Japanese or Korean exclusives. And there's not a ton of information on a lot of these games. A lot of these games are not very well documented online. And for these games in this video, micro games video in particular. So it's been difficult to find some of the info, but it's been so much fun. And this video isn't going to spoil all these games necessarily. Like, part of what's fun about the micro game genre is like seeing all the crazy, wacky art and scenarios and experiencing it. I'm obviously going to show some of that stuff, but there will still be a lot for people to discover if they want to go play these games for themselves. And wherever possible, I'm going to be linking to how you can play these games. Some of them you can play through legitimate means online, in browser or emulated somehow. The ones that you can't play through legitimate means, well, you'll figure it out if you want to. I was able to. So CD Romance or whatever you gotta do, you'll figure it out. Anyway, that is the gist of it. I just wanted to make this thing. Oh, also, I did make a quick video that I'm going to be putting out probably tomorrow or the next day about my Steam wish list, which this is just like a dumb kind of throwaway video. Just, I was just doing this anyway, decided to record this process. Had about 400 games. I'm still spitting. What is going on in my mouth? I had about 400 games on my wish list, and I boiled that down to less than 200. I hadn't gone through my wish list since 2019, and it showed, and I go, look, I'm getting emails. This game from your wish list is on sale. do I care about these games? Well, in some instances, yes. And in many other instances, well, the video will speak for itself. So that'll be coming out as well. But yeah, that's about it. That's the Hidden Machine update. So I am currently playing Fallout New Vegas after getting it up and running. It took me 2 days. I had to do the Tale of Two Wastelands patch, and the installation took several hours. I had to go to sleep. I messed it up somehow, so every time I clicked the interact button, the baby crying sound effect from Fallout 3 would play. Very frustrating, very common error from what I can see online. I haven't found a solution to it, a troubleshooting, fix or anything. So I uninstalled, restarted, and did the whole process again, which took me about 48 hours in total before I could actually get around to playing it, because the install process is very CPU intensive for this particular mod, which merges the engines of Fallout 3 and New Vegas into one thing. And I don't know, it fixes a bunch of bugs, and there's a bunch of other fixes to go with it. I'm not doing any graphical mods or anything. I'm just trying to get, fix all the crashes and bugs and things that might be fucked, with that game, which there's a number of issues. And I think if you play on consoles, you're still prone to crashes, but it will run smoother in some ways. But I wanted to get the right resolution and a steady frame rate without any bugs or crashes where they could be avoided. And I'm currently playing that now, and I love it. And I've put a lot of hours into 2, 3, and 4. Not so much time into 76, not so much time into 1, but I haven't really gotten more than a few hours into New Vegas ever, and it's just such a blast. Obviously, I was inspired by the Fallout show, which I think was one of the best video game adaptations I'd ever seen. Really good show. I don't like a lot of shows. I think a lot of stuff, I'm a kind of a snob. I think a lot of stuff kind of sucks, but I was really pleased with how that show came out. Remind me a little bit of Westworld, same director there. Not same director for all the episodes, but it's some similar vibes. And overall, I just thought it was very well made, and I think it really handled the material as best it could for this sort of thing. And it got me wanting to play a little more Fallout again. I go, it's time to finally dive back fully into New Vegas, which I did, and I don't regret it. It's a lot of fun. I streamed my first 2 hours of the game, no commentary, just the game streaming. So I'll link that down below. And I recorded a part 2, which again, no commentary. This is just raw. You just want to hang out while the game's playing, something in the background. You can check it out. I'll be putting those up on the main channel on a playlist, probably unlisted. I'll be streaming, occasionally here and there, impromptu. Again, no mic, no camera, no commentary, just the game, just playing through and, just vibing in the wasteland. And, okay, I think that really is it now. So thanks for checking this out if you did. And I'll see you in the future.